FX30 APS-C camera under the professional line, very similar in some ways to the FX3. When you started to plan the product, what did you see in your mind?
CineD, your digital cinema tech resource, supported by B&H and CVP.
Hi, I'm Johnny from CineD, and I'm here with Kosuke-san from Sony. How are you?
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And any of you that thought that Sony forgot about APS-C cameras, you are wrong. This is the FX30, and this gentleman is actually the product planner behind the camera. And I have a few questions that I hope you'll find interesting, or let me rephrase and say I hope the answers will be an inspiration for all of us. So let me start with your position at Sony.
Yeah, I am a product planner in the Sony, and actually this is actually the third year for me, and I'm very honored to have the in charge of the new products.
So when you started to plan the product, what did you see in your mind?
The first of all, so the Super 35, I mean APS-C, the Super 35 is very well known, great the format in movie industry and video creating industry. So we actually think this is very important format. So we didn't, quit to follow that the market, but this time, actually, especially for young people, we really wanted to, put everything into a tiny camera, and there is no compromise compared to FX3. So there are some difference between FX3 and the FX30, but the most importantly, we think FX30 APS-C Super 35 is really important, and there is no compromise in this camera. Our purpose is to support creators more, and of course young creators. I know there are a lot of young creators nowadays, and they start to create their contents from smartphone, but sometimes there is a timing they want to switch their main camera to the new one. So I think for the content creators and also for the all young people, this camera and Sony thinks it's important to provide the great product for them.
As far as you're concerned, what are the main strength of this camera when it comes to specifications?
Main strengths. I think it is difficult because it's the balance, I guess, because the balance is well balanced in FX30 because it has the dual base ISO, the 800 and the 2500 for now. So I think the workflow is one of the strengths in this camera. You can use CineD Quick Flexible ISO. You can use S-Log3 to maximize your edit in the NAE's workflow.
When it comes to resolution, tell me a little bit about the sensor and the processor, and maybe from that we can understand a bit more about the quality itself. What are we talking about resolution-wise and frame rates?
Yeah, in resolution-wise, we have 26 megapixels APS-C sensor for now. So I think so it's capable of 6K.
The overall resolution is like 6K, but you're doing something a bit different?
Yeah, for recording 4K, how do you say?
Oversampling?
Yeah. Oversampling 4K is able to record, so the image is more cleaner than the 4K input. So I think it's a kind of special feature.
Okay, so it's a 6K sensor, 4K oversampling for much better, sharper, nicer image. And when it comes to frame rates, how high can I go?
It actually can take 120p, same as FX3.
Cropped or not cropped?
It's actually cropped, but however, the autofocus is improved than compared to FX3. So maybe it capable of a lot of different situations.
You mentioned before that this camera, in one hand, you want to attract the younger generation of creators and give them as much as possible, and then you also mentioned CineD, which is of course more for professionals. But do you have, like, let's call it easy mode for those who are just starting to use the camera, so they don't have to think too much?
Yes, I think for the beginners, it is sometimes difficult to understand the concept of EI and switching base ISO. So in this time, we introduced CineD Quick, and especially it is same as FX3's version 2, but in FX30, it is more easy to switch from lower base ISO to higher base ISO because the gap is very the smaller than the FX3. So you can switch with using EI to switch the base ISO.
Now, the FX30 is a newer camera than the FX3. I mean, they look the same, the body is the same, but obviously different sensor and I guess also different processor, I can assume. In terms of actual picture quality, should we expect the same, or because it's a newer camera, the picture quality is actually better?
It is difficult to answer this question. I guess, I think the picture quality is, I don't say totally same, but both camera has a good picture quality. So I think both are good.
Did you use the camera yourself? It's interesting for me to know if the people behind the camera are actually using it. Did you run with it? Did you look at the footage? Because as a product planner, do you kind of get feedback for yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I do. Because that's my product, and I am kind of content creator, so it's really fun to take out my camera outside and take some test footages. So yeah, it's always fun.
So you are a filmmaker or content creator in your past before you started to work for Sony?
Yes, exactly. That's one. This is the one of the reason I entered Sony. When I was a university student, I started to create my video contents. So that's our first experience to touch, this industry. Yeah.
This is an amazing story. I think this is an amazing personal story. First product, a content creator who actually tried to realize a dream from a different perspective. Really amazing. This is common in Sony, by the way, or you're a unique story?
I think, I don't know, but yeah, there are some creators, of course, in Sony too. But I am the one of the younger video creator, so not a lot of people there. So I think one of the special person in that office, I guess.
Is there anything else that you would like to mention about the product?
There are two variations, actually. The one is with XLR handle unit, and the another is without a handle. So with a XLR handle unit, you can buy it $2199, and without the XLR handle, you can get $1799. I hope that this FX30 will connect to more younger creators to start filmmaking. It's really fun to create video contents, of course, the movies with yourself, sometimes with your friends, and it enlarges your world, and also the having creativity in your younger age is really fun. So I hope FX30 will help those creativities into the movie contents or film contents. Mm-hmm.
I consider myself as young in heart because obviously I'm a bit older. But still, one of the things that I don't want to say preventing me to use the FX3 and the FX30 might be the EVF. I just really like to feel closer to the camera, have something in my eye to judge exposure and framing. Where is the EVF?
Um, for now, there is no model like F Alpha 7S3. So in FX3, you can choose FX3 with no EVF, F Alpha 7S3 with EVF. But for now, you can't choose, right? But yeah, I think EVF is very important for the creators, of course, the video creators. We are going to
Help me to think about it, and hopefully this is something that we can see in the future. One more feature which is missing from some of your cameras is DCI, 4K DCI recording. Do we have this at the FX30?
Um, I can't answer for now, but we also take a lot of the feedback from the creators too about the DCI 4K. So we listen to that voices, and we will answer. We will We will think about that feature, and I hope we can answer to that.
Good. At least we know that we have a creator like us behind the product, and you know our difficulties sometimes, and I know that you will try your best to convince the others in the team to produce some of those components. Kosuke-san, thank you very much. It was really, really a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And guys, thank you very much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.